Hey, my name is Kristibolin. I am a Creative Memories Advisor in South Carolina, and this video is going to show you a fun, different way to build a snowman. Do you want to build a snowman with me? I have been inspired recently by some different quilts that I have seen, and I did go ahead and start my pages by doing my little quilt blocks on the outside edges, and we're going to build our snowman either here. There's two. There's one that's bigger. I'm going to put it on the left hand page, and the smaller one I'm going to put on the right hand page, but I'm not sure if I'm going to have them more to the outside edges or more to the inside edges. My original thought was the inside edges, but I know that our focus should actually be our photos that will be on the page. So we're going to play with that in just a minute. I will tell you that I'm using papers from a few different Totally Tonal Blues, the Totally Tonal Blue and the Totally Tonal Baby Blue. I think those are the only two packs that I pulled from. I do have one paper square. I don't have that paper in here with me, but it's actually the gingham, the blue gingham is from our open house pack for 2023. And it's not used a lot in my squares on the outside, but it is going to be the base of our snowman. So I did want to let you know that. And actually, I should probably show you this part. Mostly this video is just going to be building. But what I did, all right, let me check one thing and see what I need more of before I make a cut. We'll do this one. I cut my squares at 1.5 inches. So put the right side of your paper at the 1.5 inch mark, or use the right hand side of your measuring on your trimmer. So cut at 1.5 inches, and I knew that I could get 8 squares going down my page if I used 1.5 inch squares. So after you cut your paper, just go ahead and cut at 1.5 inches, and you should get 8 squares out of your 12-inch strip of paper. Then I took my squares, I stacked at least 2 at a time, and I put them on the diagonal. So one point is on the cut line at the top and one point is on the cut line at the bottom. And this is kind of hard to hold as you close since it's so narrow. And I like to start on my paper and then go off and then go back up, because if you try to start off the paper and roll down onto it, you're likely to make it go sideways and you won't get as clean of a cut. Now, I don't need any more triangles. I may need a few more squares, but I'm not going to cut a lot on this video because I know I don't really need any more because of the prep work I did ahead of time. But I just wanted to show you how I did that, and then just choose how you want to build your squares back together by quilting them and putting them in different combinations to make you some quilt squares. Well, let's see. Let's try it this way. So something like that. Now, if you don't want to do the step of putting the squares together along the edge like this, I feel fairly certain it would still look just as well to keep your squares together and still just make yourself a quilt. Plenty of quilts are built by not sewing triangles together, but sewing squares together. So you know, it doesn't have to be, actually some quilts are done with circles, you know, so there's no right or wrong way to line the outside edges of your paper. And I've already done the far right and the far left, but I honestly thought once I get my snowman built, I may come along the top with just solid squares instead of doing them in the layered triangles look. I'm not sure yet. So I did want to point that out. Let me put these back together. This is my planning board. If you've never tried using a planning board before, I am here to tell you it is a time saver, especially when you get maybe you don't have a lot of room on your table, and y'all have heard me say before, I end up having stuff up here at the top of my table and then over here to my left. So I like having a planning board because it keeps things together and it helps you be able to see them easier as well. Okay, so here is what I'm going to do for my snowman. I am not going to build him with circles. I'm going to build him with squares. So that's one way that this is going to be different. And as you could see on that other planning board, I had already laid out my plan. And I'm going to do 2 rows for the left-hand side snowman because I wanted it to be big, like it's the daddy or the mama. And I did use the different papers to simulate various shades of blues. And honestly, they're not all blues either. Look at this paper. This paper is from our open house 2023 paper pack as well. The back of it is red. This is that other one that I mentioned. It's got some green on the back. And then the last one, actually all of these papers are from the open house pack. It is kind of a grayish with the stars on it, and it's a plaid on the back. So I didn't want it to be blue, nor did I want it to be solid white. And y'all might not, you don't have to use your base page as a tonal paper. You could use solid cardstock, but I chose to use this one so that it would kind of look like the snow is still falling. So that's why I chose my base page to be this way. All right, instead of pulling my other pieces over, I'm going to go ahead and start adhering my squares so we can build it really quick. Y'all don't need to, oh man, well, I forgot that I wanted to see where this is going to go, but I'm just going to go ahead and plug it in over here, and then we'll make this work since it could, it doesn't have to be one way or the other. Like I said, I just wanted to see where my pictures would fit best if I did it more to the side rather than closer to the middle. When I thought I was going to do it more to the middle, I thought that it would give the appearance that the daddy snowman and the baby snowman were holding hands across the double page spread. And also, I can't remember if I said this already or not, but I did this prep work so that you didn't have to just see me do all these simple little cuts and listen to me talk. If you've watched any of my videos before, you know that I don't really do editing. I just kind of put it together and move on. But then I start talking and y'all probably get sick of hearing me talk. So I thought I would do all this ahead of time and this can move faster. So there's my first layer. My next layer, what you do is, so I've got 4 squares going along the bottom. And so my next layer will be 3. And since it's, you know, it's graduating up, you center your left square over the 2 layers, the 2 squares below it. I'll hold it up in just a second. I don't want to risk things falling away. So I'll show you as soon as I get them on here what I mean by that. So you just kind of center it on, and also I chose to do 2, well, I think I did already say I chose to do 2 layers down at the bottom so that it would be bigger and give it more of an emphasis, I guess you could say. So these will be like this. Okay, let me hold this up so you can see what I mean about they're centered over here, and then right here they're centered, and then centered again over these 2. So that's how my next layer will go. And you probably don't have to do a double layer of each set of squares to build your pieces of your snowman. I just thought that it would continue to make my snowman bigger, and then also, you know, pack more of a punch. But I think that it would have been okay to have not doubled everything. My baby snowman is not going to be doubled at all. It's just going to have 1 layer of each part of the snowman. Uh-oh, I'm about to stick that down the wrong way. This paper is directional, and it would have been, I guess it could be okay for the stripes to be going a different direction, but I didn't want that to be a distractor in the final look of my snowman. This layer, once again, is going to be centered over the bottom 3, and there's only 2 parts to this. Let me turn that again. That's since it's got a little bit of a direction to it. I did go ahead and glue my eyes on my head. The head is actually made up of 4 squares, but I glued my eyes on the top 2, and then I have the other pieces ready to glue down for his nose, his mouth, and I have buttons, and I have arms. So the arms, I used my spring leaf punch, and I used this inside part that comes out. That's what I used to make my snowman arms. I'm sure that you could use some other parts of punches that come out. I don't have a good example around right now. Of course, you could just cut some brown to make it like it is a stick. This is actually part of a punch, and let's see, it's one of the 3 punch things. But anyway, basically I freehanded to cut his mouth off of a piece that came from that other punched piece. This is a nose made out of cards or designer paper, and I freehanded it too, but essentially it is a type of triangle for the nose. I should have just laid the mouth back on like this. And my buttons are hearts. Those were from, well, I don't even know what these punches came from. I think it's also one of those punch trios that we have. And the main reason I don't know is because I have some punch poop laying up here on my workspace that I had never thrown away. And everything was laying up there with the exception of I did cut my nose from a piece of orange trash that I had. And I did have to punch an extra couple of arms because I only had 2 of the insides from the spring leaves. So this is how this is going to go. And I don't want to, you may need to use precision point adhesive for some of your pieces. I want to avoid having to wait on it to dry. So I'm just going to pretty quickly throw my repositionable adhesive on mine, and I'm probably going to have to use my reverse tweezers to lift this next piece. Actually, I know I am, to get his mouth on there the way I want. And I kind of want his smile to be a little bit crooked. And I'll do these hearts real quick for the buttons. Now, another thing that you can use, and I did use it for the eyes, the Build an Owl punch that we had for Croptoberfest. If you have it, it has a couple of different sizes of circles. That trio punch thing, that's the 3 little punches. Unfortunately, I don't have them close by, that I got some of these pieces from. They make some great little circles. And then there's several other punches that we have had that can be used to make different eyes and things. I see my duck punch on my workspace, and it has a little tiny eye that could be used. There's that arm. Here's this arm. Ta-da! Okay, let me grab my baby snowman pieces. And I know I've already told you that I'm only going to do 1 layer for it, so this one should go a little bit faster. I'm going to come, since it's smaller, I'm going to come in further on the page. Hopefully I won't regret that. Well, I can't get these 2 squares aren't wanting to snuggle up against each other. I'm sure you could find a way to make a scarf for your snowman with different designer paper, or with cardstock, freehand it, or maybe even make one out of another punch. I can't think of which one might work, but maybe like the balloons and stars or something, to end up making a scarf. I'm not sure. Baby snowman's face has already been put together, so I just have to put the square down. And I only did 2 buttons for baby snowman, since he is smaller, he or she is smaller. And again, these were pieces that I just had laying up here on my workspace. Need my tweezers to grab that arm. The buttons are different. The one is brown on the Daddy Snowman, and they're black on the Daddy Snowman, brown on the Baby Snowman. And my arms are orange on the baby and brown on the daddy. So, you know, really, I don't think it's going to matter that much from one side to the next if you do have some variations. Okay, so let's pull some photo mats so that we can see what we have. Now, obviously, Daddy's taking up more space, so you may get less on this page, Honestly, the way I positioned him, I'm not even sure I can get a second 4x4, but I can put some 4x6s over here on with baby, and depending on how much I would want to overlap my outside edge squares or parts of the snowman, I could squeeze more in. Yeah, I am regretting a little bit that I didn't either cheat it more to the left or more to the right so that I could definitely get another photo in. Let's see. No, I don't like that either. Let's pretend. Let's pretend I may move him over, or if I do cover up his arm, I don't think I like that. But I also didn't want a double page layout to only have 4 photos on it. So I've got to figure out how to adjust. I will do that adjustment, and the video, excuse me, not the video, the picture of the finished project will be the way I adjust it to show you where some photos can go. And my squares, if I want to use some to fill in some of this dead space across the top, obviously there's not a whole lot of dead space because of how the snowmen take up a little more space than I thought they might. So, but if I do want to fill in some squares, I can. I would be more likely to leave this free and just do a few squares coming in across the top. And I'm not sure that I'm picking the right colors, but I'm just trying to do it quickly to show you. Because, you know, I want my eyes to be drawn into the center or towards the photos. And so if I keep coming across all the way, then it's just going to be, I think it's more than likely it's just going to be wasted because the photo would cover up the squares anyway. And then I do still want the snowman to stand out at the bottom, and maybe a title could go on there somewhere as well. So I hope that you enjoyed this cute, fun little snowman made in a very different, unexpected sort of way. I'm calling it quilted snowman, even though the snowman itself is not the quilt look. It's the edges that are the quilt. And if you do not have a Creative Memories advisor that you shop with, I would love to help you. You can shop from my website, and I'm going to hold up this so that you can read the address, and I will also spell it for you. www.creativememoriescom/user/KRISTIBOLIN. My email address is kristibolin@gmail.com. And if you want to join my weekly class, ask me about Kristi's Croppers subscription group when you email me, and I will send you information about that. It is the Christmas season, and I hope that you all have a wonderful holiday season. And I do have some different specials and things going on. So if you want to email me about that, please do so. I can add you to my customer Facebook group. Again, if you don't have an advisor that you already shop with, but otherwise, I will see you in my next video. Please like and subscribe to my page so that I can build visibility, and I will be doing a drawing for some prizes when I reach 500 subscribers. Y'all take care, and I will see you again soon.